Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the deep dive. I am so excited because I feel like we spend the whole month coming up to this moment where we do the Motivational Mondays around the main topic where we get in, but today is a deeper dive into sleep and hydration and really helping you see the significance of both in your life. Help, and we're also going to get a little bit more reflective. So we've been giving you a lot of information, giving you tools, giving you resources, and we also want you to start thinking about what does your journey look like, and maybe not necessarily what your journey ideally looks like, because I think sometimes we think where we want to be is where we actually are, but where are you actually, right? And where do you want to go? And then starting to help you get to those places. So today we have the deep dive, which is our session where we're helping you dive deep, have all of the information. And then tomorrow is the deep dive mentorship, where we are going to be answering your questions, giving you feedback, and really helping you create a plan and a map for the growth in your life. So I will drop the links in the chat for you to be able to register for tomorrow's event if you'd like to be there. You'll see that there are a select few people who show up at those events. And the reason why is because I feel like it takes a very specific type of person to be open to doing the work. I feel like it can be really fun and easy to get the information, but when we're asked to show up, get a little vulnerable, see where we really are, and get real with ourselves and get real with others, sometimes that can be a little intimidating. So, that's the basis of what Life Guides is. And we want to make it as reachable and as touchable for you to be able to have that access and that experience and that support. Because I said this on Motivational Monday this week, but if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's an African proverb, and it's one of the main ideals that runs my life of like, okay, cool. I'm pretty great alone. I've satisfied needs in my life. I can do what I need to do. But I've grown exponentially through having mentorship and coaching in layers of my life. So I am dropping our link tree in the chat for you. That has where you can register for the mentorship event. It also has where you can schedule your first call with your guide. So without further ado, I think we're just diving into today's conversation because we've already said so much this month. So, we've got the wonderful Alvaro here. He's one of our certified life guides with us, and he is a neuroplastician and a conversational intelligence, and he focuses on conversational intelligence. So, thank you, Alvaro. Thank you so much for being here. We're so happy to have you. Can you open up today's conversation?
Well, thank you for having me, and it's always fun to come here and dance with you on these topics. It's really really exciting, and just even getting ready for it makes me kind of do a deep dive myself. And today we're gonna be talking about hydration and sleep, and we're gonna concentrate on hydration. Sleep is actually not that difficult if you just change a couple of things in your lifestyle. It comes around. So that's what we're gonna do.
I sat with Alvaro right before the session and I was like, I don't think we should talk much about sleep. And he was like, Kira, we can't because sleep is really simple, really basic. There are basic principles you need to know. And outside of that, that's kind of it. I feel like sometimes we have this desire to make things a little bit more complicated, but since we're doing most of the deep dive on hydration today, Alvaro, can you give us a little, just the basics for sleep? And then I want to put a poll on the screen, get an understanding where everyone is at so we can make sure that this conversation is catered to you. But just give us the basics. What do we need for sleep?
So you don't even need to think about how many hours of sleep you need. You need to simply follow the sun. It's that easy. Just follow the sun. When the sun's rising, get up. When the sun's setting, go to bed. And the reason for that is that neurologically, our eyes, the only brain matter that we have outside of our skull, are primarily designed to regulate cortisol and melatonin production so that in the morning, cortisol spikes and we get up and go hunt and gather to stay alive. In the evening, the melatonin gets us off to sleep, and that's done by the regulation that we see in the gradient of colors in the sky. So it's that simple. But once you've experienced sunset, if you go binge on Netflix or get on your phone and doom scroll, you actually reactivate the cortisol production and stay in the stress cycle that keeps you awake. So it is extremely challenging because you have to change your lifestyle habit. You have to really allow sunset to be a time when that's not when you sit down to eat, drink alcohol, get on phones. It's when you pick up a book, maybe meditate, take a hot shower, go to bed, get horizontal. You don't even need to think about sleeping. You just need to get horizontal. Your mind will do what it needs to do.
And it takes time, it really does. I've been working on my sleep journey for about a year, and I feel like you just get more in tune with yourself. You get more in tune with your body, you get more in tune with your needs, and it's activated a lot more different layers for me too in regards to stress and sleep and hydration and all of the things, which we'll dive in this conversation. But I really want to get a pulse for where everyone on this conversation is at. So I'm going to put a poll on the screen, and it's really just, I think it's 8 questions. Most of them are yes or no questions, just where you're at, so that as we're having this conversation, we can make sure that depending on where you're at, we can make sure that you're getting the support that you need. So that should be on your screen. It should take you probably no more than like 30 to 45 seconds to answer. And it's really simple. Do you struggle to sleep? How many hours of sleep do you get per night? Um, is your sleep disrupted? Do you struggle to drink water? Are you aware of when you're thirsty? Do you feel emotionally unregulated? Do you feel stress on a regular basis? And do you hit a midday slump? And it's funny because we make these conversations as real as possible because Life Guides is built on mentorship and coaching and conversations through a screen where someone can help you grow. So there are people in live podcasts who would never be caught drinking water, but you probably see me and all of my guides on every session. Alvaro was just drinking water. I'll be drinking water too. It's important. And I think the more that we give you those visual cues as well, the more that you'll see, oh, I can do this too. I can make sure that I'm hydrated. I can make sure that I have what I need to live a stable and focused life. So I'll leave this up maybe for another 25 seconds, just giving you all some time to fill out the survey. I'm seeing different results come through. Um, and it's really interesting. We'll also talk about how sleep and hydration are linked together. And I've been doing some tests on my own body with that as well and seeing, okay, what helps me in certain ways. So we're going to give you tips and tools and tricks, also insight and information so that you can start toying around with your own journey and figuring out what you need for yourself. So we've got 10 seconds left on the poll. Thank you all so much for filling it out. And I'm going to end the poll now. So what we see, I'm going to share the results on the screen so you all can see it. They're anonymous results, but 72% of us on this call struggle to sleep. Um, Only 6% of us are getting 8+ hours of sleep. That is the recommended dose of sleep. I know Alvaro said it's not important the amount of time. I think when you're starting to get what he means is when you're starting to get into managing your sleep, you need to manage your routine before you manage the length. But when you look at over a long time, you also need to get length. But if you don't have a good routine, you're never going to get a long term of sleep. 41% of you sleep less than 6 hours a night. Are you stressed? How do you feel? 71% of you have disrupted sleep. 47% of us struggle to drink water. I'm so happy to hear it's only half of us. 47% of us are aware when we're thirsty. 59% of us feel emotionally unregulated. And then 82% of us feel stress on a regular basis. And 88% of us hit a midday slump. So those are all real statistics that we can use for today's conversation. And Alvaro, hearing those answers and those statistics for the population that's here on this conversation right now, what does that make you want to say or share?
Well, first of all, there's, in my experience, we're very self-critical, and so we like to go to the negative. And the reality is that most people actually sleep fairly well. They perhaps don't sleep long enough, but that's not a function of the sleep. It's a function of the daytime activities. It's a function of, like I said before, doing things at sunrise and at sunset that your body is not designed to be doing, and it disrupts the cycle, the natural cycle. So the recommended amount of time, and it is very important how much time you sleep. You're supposed to sleep for a third of the day, so anywhere from 7 to 9 hours. Um, I see a question coming up on how accurate the Apple Watch sleep tracker is. Here's my take, and this is my take. That creates stress. It can give you a dopamine hit when you get it right and you get a little happy face or whatever. But looking at your watch and analyzing everything, it's like using a scale for weight. Weight is not the problem. It could be a whole host of things. And so when you're staring at weight, it doesn't give you your true health uh, metrics. Looking at a watch for sleep is, unless you've got sleep apnea, kind of useless for me. Because all it does is create stress of, oh my God, I didn't sleep enough. Oh my God, I didn't sleep enough. Oh, I overslept, right? Concentrate on the things you have control over. You have no control over your watch and what it's doing when you're sleeping. They're not that accurate, by the way. So I'm not a sleep expert, but here's what I can tell you. With the clients that I've worked with that shift their habits to not eating right before bed, to not drinking alcohol too much, to not being on TV sets and screens after 6 p.m., 7 p.m., which sounds crazy in our world. But when you have that Apple Watch and you wake up at 2:30 in the morning and you look at it, the light from that screen signals to your brain to wake up. So you're kind of defeating the whole purpose. Just let sleep do its thing. It knows how to do it. Your body knows how to sleep. You don't need to train it. So if you concentrate on the activities that you do when you wake up and when you go to sleep, your sleep hygiene will be perfect. You'll sleep the amount that your body needs. So let's say, for example, one of the questions you had in that poll was, is your sleep interrupted? Or the real question is, how is your sleep interrupted? If your sleep is interrupted because you go into the bathroom, don't drink water before you go to bed. Right? If your sleep is interrupted because you're stressed and you're not dealing with your stress, then develop some habits to deal with your stress during the day so that your brain can do what it needs to do, your neural system can do what it needs to do at night to close the loop on that stress. Not erase it, close the loop on it. If you wake up at 2:30 in the morning with a eureka moment, get your notepad and get it down. Get it out of your system and get it down so that you can then look at it the next day. There's nothing wrong with having a eureka moment at 2:30 in the morning. It's when we have them. It's when it's like being in the shower because your brain is working subconsciously. Allow for it and develop the habits to deal with it.
So, I mean, it's that simple, right? It
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 is that
really
simple.
it's that simple. We can't say too much around sleep because it really is what's the lifestyle that you live? And it's so funny. Your day isn't determined by how you wake up. Your day is determined the night before by how you go to sleep because the sleep that you do get, if you don't get enough sleep, your body is immediately more stressed. That's what Alvaro was talking about by closing the loop. If you're not taking the necessary precautions throughout your daytime to make sure that you're centered and whole, you're not going to feel that at night. Absolutely not. So I feel like this is a sense of delayed gratification too, where we have to prepare the night before for the day that we want to have. And I think that it gives us a sense of empowerment of being like, okay, what's the day that I want to have? What type of person do I want to be? The science is very simple. Sleep is a non-negotiable. And in this society, we treat it like it's negotiable. And then we feel like there's something off with us when we're stressed, or when we snap at our kids, or when we're frustrated with our partner, or when our boss says something that's not really even that bad, but like we take it so exponentially large. And then we think that that's us. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm a reactive person. But what if it's just that you really didn't sleep well last night? And what if it's just that you don't know how to get yourself into good sleep? That's a lot easier, right? And Alvaro and I talked about how sleep and hydration are free. These are two things that you don't have to pay anyone or anything for. These are the things that your body is naturally made for. Your body is not naturally made for scrolling on TikTok at 11 o'clock at night. Your body's not naturally made to watch Netflix. We can do it, but it's not what we're made for. So our body already has the intelligence inside of it, and we just need to create a system that supports that. We have a question from Zach in the chat. It says, "Is it true that the sleep 2 nights before an important event is more beneficial than the actual night before?"
Uh, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm just gonna stick to the basic here. If you have great sleep hygiene, none of that matters. It's
Exactly.
that simple. Don't try and control what you cannot control. I guarantee you can follow all those tips, and if in general you have dysregulated sleep because one day you go to bed at 8 and the other at 11 and the other at 2 in the morning because you drink, because you've got sleep apnea that you don't take care of, all those things, I guarantee trying to sleep properly 2 nights. And how do you sleep properly 2 nights before an event? Just thinking about that stresses me out. Oh my God, it's 2 days before an event. I got to sleep properly or else my event is going to go sideways. That would, for me, cause stress. Maybe for somebody else it doesn't. The answer here is simple. Just have a good sleep hygiene. Say no to the things that are keeping you from having good sleep. Look, it's really simple. My doctor told me I have severe sleep apnea. I literally do not breathe for half of the night if I don't wear a CPAP machine. My doctor said to me, he said, "You do not need to wear the CPAP machine." And I was so elated. And then he said, "Let me show you how you're going to die. Over a period of 10 to 15 years, you're going to develop dementia. Your All your major organs will start shutting down prematurely. You'll be dependent. Your children will be changing your diapers. So don't wear your machine." I wear my machine every single night. Gift yourself the future. If you care about yourself, if you care about those people that are in your life that you don't want to see suffer because you're deteriorating, particularly mentally, but also physically, then just develop a good sleep hygiene. It feels so great. It's like it's the polar opposite of, you go out and you eat fried foods and a big dessert and you drink beer. In the moment, you get the instant gratification, but you know you're going to pay the price with indigestion, feeling bloated, and all those things, and you'll feel crap for 3 days. That's not a gift to yourselves in the future. That is taking away from your satisfaction and your joy in the future. Just develop a very simple protocol. Go for a walk in the evening with somebody you love or with yourself. Hopefully you love yourself. Get up in the morning, experience the sunlight outdoors, not through a window. Experience the sunrise if you can, because that gradient is amazing. The gradient is amazing for sunset as well, for regulating our cortisol and melatonin. Cortisol is not a bad thing unless it's there 24/7. And if you're on doom scrolling duty at 11:30 at night and you can't get off and you're watching the news cycle and you're doing those things, your cortisol levels up and when it's not supposed to be. And that is not good for you.
Absolutely. And Brandy said, when I moved in with my partner, we removed the TV from our bedroom to try and improve our sleep. And that's such an easy thing. Your bedroom really should be for two things. It should be for sleep and intimacy and not much more. Outside of that, you've got other rooms in your house that are take up all the other things and activities that you have to do. But if you're looking for good sleep hygiene, make sure that your bedroom has a purpose and only two purposes. And all of these changes will take time. Absolutely. But what I will say, I love having the Aura Ring. I love tracking, but I would never step on a scale. What Alvaro was talking about, stepping on a scale stresses me out beyond belief. I don't need that data. But for me, I use this in certain ways where one, there's no screen, so I can only look at it on my phone, and I don't look at my phone for the first hour after I wake up. It's in a different room. I don't even have my phone in my room 98% of the time. Um, Again, your room is for sleep and intimacy. But also what I noticed is my Aura Ring tracks my stress levels. And what Alvaro was just talking about with the cortisol, which is a stress hormone, stress is good in certain ways. Stress can promote us to go out and conquer the day, but when it's time to sleep, we shouldn't be stressed. And I noticed that if I put a movie on late and I'm watching it until 11, normally I'm sleeping by like 10, but if I'm watching it until 11, I feel my heart racing and I look at my Aura Ring and my stress levels are at the high, like absolute highest of stress levels that they've been in the entire day. And the reason why is because my body knows that it's unnatural for me to be awake. If that screen was not on, I would be sleeping. So there's a level of force that's happening inside of me for me to continue to be awake. And if I didn't put that movie on, I would have been asleep much sooner. And my body knows because it was already preparing me for sleep. And then I disrupted it. And now my body's like, wait, what are we doing? This is not good. So it's just getting in tune with your body, understanding things, and we can start switching into a little bit of hydration, and I'll bring it back to sleep. But one of the things that happened for me is whenever I do this work with you all, I get challenged every single time. So if I'm talking about finances, I usually go through financial things so that I can teach you all based on my inherent wisdom that I'm gaining as we're doing it. If I'm talking about sleep and hydration, I usually get challenged with sleep and hydration. And December and a decent amount of January has been hard. My sleep has not been great. My resilience hasn't been great. There's been so many things. And I've been waking up in the middle of the night at like 2:30 in the morning. I don't have a phone in my bedroom. I have nothing that would keep me awake, but I'm up maybe from like 2 to 3:30 tossing around. And I was like, why is this happening? I had my AC super low. I had a fan on. Another thing is if you sleep in cool temperatures, that is so much better for you than sleeping in hot temperatures. I love blankets on me. I love cozying up in blankets, but I need to feel the cold on me. Um, but I didn't realize I started testing it. I don't always have water by my bed because I don't want to make wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. But I started testing if I'm waking up at 2:30 in the morning and I chug water, I will go back to bed instantly. If I wake up at 2:30 in the morning and I'm just tossing and turning, I will not go back to bed. So it's been a sign to me of, oh, I need to hydrate a lot more during the day. But if I'm at night tossing around, hydration will help that. And there's science that actually proves this, that hydration and sleep are very intimately linked. Hydration and water in your body, it determines, how do I say this? Every single function in your body needs water. Every single function. It's a non-negotiable. We are 70% water on a cellular level. You've heard me say this, and 99% water on a molecular level. Every single hormone fluctuation is released by water. So what happens is everything we do in our day, cortisol when we wake up, that's a hormone that's produced. Melatonin when we're going to sleep, that's a hormone that's produced. If you do not have the right levels of hydration in your body, you will start having imbalances. So when we start looking at hydration, it can be a great tool for starting to look at our sleep as well. And when we see that these are the two main pillars of our health that we have free and easy control over, we can start testing these things. And just like Kirsten said, she's like, I'll give it a try. And that's all that you really need to do is take 2 weeks, start challenging yourself and put yourself on a 2-week challenge where you're like, okay, I'm going to put some healthier hydration and sleep hygiene patterns into my life, and you'll see that changes will start to be made in your life.
I want to touch on something that you were talking about, the bedroom being a place for rest and intimacy. So here's the thing about sleep. Sleep does not mean that you're out of it, that you are eyes closed and gone. It means that you're horizontal and you are in a state of relaxation. If you do that for an average of 8 hours a day in the nighttime, whether you're awake or not, your body is still functioning as it should. There is a time when we're sleeping in which we're basically paralyzed except for some functions in our eyes. Um, and that will happen in and of itself. You have no control over that, no conscious control over that. So don't beat yourself up over waking up and being awake for an hour or not. It's always beneficial to have water close by because we don't control easily whether we're mouth breathing or not. And when we mouth breathe, our mouth's dry. And so we require water. If we nose breathe, it doesn't happen. I can attest to that because with my CPAP machine, my mouth, I wake up and it's not dry because my mouth is closed all night. If I don't wear my CPAP machine, I wake up, my mouth is like sandpaper and dry. So that's really important. On the intimacy part, one of the best ways to get to sleep is through intimacy. And I'm not talking sex, I'm talking about closeness and feeling love. It relaxes us, it allows our nervous system to feel safe, which is essential for sleep. So it's such a huge part. If you're with your partner and you're doom scrolling and watching violent TV and watching the news cycle, you could be holding hands and snuggled, and the message you're sending to your body is that we're not in a safe space, and you're doing that together. This is not intimacy. We become codependent, and that is not good for sleep, and that is not good for our emotional regulation. So it's so important to take the time, read books together, um, do nothing. It's so underrated doing nothing. Get bored. It's okay. You know, when there are massive blackouts, there's usually a surge in population 9 months later. So it's all right to turn the lights off. It's all right to have nothing to do. It's all right to connect and to not have to fill the silence. Just be there. It's so important. Um, so don't try to say sleep is when I no longer know that I'm awake and when I wake up. No, that's not sleep. Sleep doesn't work like that. Sleep requires a sense of safety and relaxation for a prolonged period of time, usually at nighttime. So those of you who are nurses and doing shift work or doctors doing shift work or whatever it is, that you feel the stress of that, you feel the pain of that. And for most of us that don't have to meet those kind of timetables, we have the luxury of choice and exercise that luxury. Pay it forward for yourself. You'll see the changes immediately.
Ah, I love that we're having conversations around all of this. It's all important. Even talking about intimacy and building deeper connections, if you start studying longevity, you one of the fourth pillars for longevity is having meaningful relationships in your lives. And that doesn't mean having a person next to you. It means having a person next to you that means a lot, that brings value to your life and that you can share and open up with. And I feel like sometimes our devices and all the things that keep us awake and distracted also distract us from the things that matter the most too, which are our relationships and are the people in our lives every single day that help us live a better life and help us feel more whole. And these are conversations that you can start having with the people who you share your home with, whether it's your children or yourself, or even you start chatting with your dogs and you're like, we're going to bed early or whatever. Um, you can start having conversations around like, hey, what do we want our life to look like? What are the things we want to start working on? I want to start working on sleep. I want to have more sweet cuddle moments with you 10 minutes before bed. I want to make that a priority. That'll make your relationships flourish too. And when we have happy hearts, I think we sleep better too. When my heart hurts, I don't sleep that well. So with all of that being said, I want to well, actually, do you all have any other questions regarding the topics that we've been discussing up until this point before we dive a little bit deeper into hydration? And yeah, Brandy, I'm reading a book about assassins, and I might have had dreams last night about being assassinated. Who knows? I'm very receptive.
And
Um,
I do want to address one of the comments in the chat was breastfeeding twins. Testosterone levels require an absence of cortisol. Cortisol actually shuts off the production of estrogen and testosterone. Both men and women produce testosterone and estrogen. Sleep is the primary time when those kind of things are being produced. For a man to be close to infants at nighttime, in close physical proximity to infants at nighttime, allows our estrogen levels to go up. And sociological studies have shown that these men have more motherly qualities. They will nurture more. And the estrogen level stays elevated. It's not like a spike and then disappear. It's an elevated estrogen level in men when they choose to stay close to infants. So the breastfeeding, though, yes, it keeps you awake. There's nothing, our bodies are designed for the sleepless nights of rearing children, of making them safe. You're not going to get your 7 to 9 hours. Don't panic. It's a stage of your life. You're going to get 4 hours. No, it's not suck it up, buttercup. It's just a reality. You need to be vigilant and take care of those who can't take care of themselves. So accept it, work with it, and look for those days when you do get it.
Absolutely. I love that you talked about that because I mean there's so many more layers that we could go into from there. Even co-sleeping with a baby is really important for the baby. It's really important for the parents. There's a lot of divisiveness on those topics, but if we look at how these are the things that I want you all to start thinking about as we're closing up this month on sleep and hydration is what did life look like before the Industrial Revolution? What did it look like before we lived in these isolated little boxes that we call homes and apartments? What did it look like before we had lights and computers and technology? All of that, and the human body has been around for millions of years, right? All of that has only been around for like 250 plus years. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's a teeny tiny speck of time that we've lived these lives that we've lived. And when we look at evolution and the changes that our bodies make to adjust to the changes in the world, evolution takes many, 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 many generations. It doesn't happen in just a couple of hundred years. So, as you're starting to look at your life and build your life and um, put yourself in a place of developing your own routines, also start looking at what's natural. What did we do before we were in these boxes? We slept, we drank water, we built a fire. We reared children, we hunted, we gathered, and we lived with the cycles of the earth. Do I want to live on the earth 24/7? Absolutely not. Do I not want to have a cell phone and the connections that I have now? Absolutely not. Half of my best friends live all the way across the country and or the world. But I also am aware that though I get to enjoy all of these luxuries of the lifestyles that we have access to now, I also understand my body was made for something different, and supporting that helps me feel better as a person and it helps me show up better as a person. I'm a better friend, I'm a better coworker, I'm a better partner in setting up these sessions because I also take care of my basic needs. And if your body is not in survival, let's talk about it, right? If you're not getting enough sleep, you're in survival. If you're not drinking enough water, you're in survival. If you're lonely, talking about intimacy, you're in survival. You're actually 40% more likely to die from loneliness than you are of smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. So these are things that are incredibly important. And if you're in a state of survival right now, our goal is to get you to thriving. Our goal is to help you get to the place where you're like, oh, I feel really good. I feel really supported. I see satisfaction in my growth. And that's why we have our guides here who can help you on the journey as well. Because sometimes we're too close to the fire to see our own lives and the ways that we can evolve and show up and make small changes. Getting a little bit more sleep isn't that big. drinking a little bit more water isn't that big. But we want to do big things in our lives, but if we can't make the small things happen, then maybe sometimes we'll fall a little short with the big things. Um, Alvaro, your comment to Jocelyn was only sent to hosts and panelists, so I'm just going to drop it in the main chat. Um, Jocelyn, we're curious about what aids you were speaking of in regards to non-habit forming aids. So, Alvaro, let's transition a little bit to hydration. And once we have your response, Jocelyn, we can make sure that we answer it. But help us dive a little bit more into the significance of hydration as you know it.
All right, so uh, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. Here's what I can tell you out of experience. I like to take baby steps and I like the path of least resistance. I call it water flowing down a mountainside. It'll always find the path of least resistance, whether that's underground, over rocks, around trees, whatever it is, it's going down, it's going to make its way to the ocean in the easiest possible way. Um, so, what does that look like for hydrating? What are the smallest choices that you can make in order to hydrate properly? And what are some of the benefits that you wouldn't think of normally when you hydrate? Well, I work in front of a computer quite a bit. I got my two screens, I got my cell phone going. Like most people, I probably have like 3 or 4 screens going at any given time. And there's this adage that you should get up off your chair every once in a while, stretch every 25 minutes. Well, if you drink 6 of these a day, unless the toilet is right underneath your desk, you're going to be getting up every half hour. I go to the bathroom all the time. All the time. And I used to probably go a lot less. I could probably go like 6, 7 hours without going to the bathroom. Easily. You go on a flight, maybe use the bathroom, maybe not. Now, forget it. Yeah, I'm a little older, sure. It's not a bladder control thing. It's a flushing thing. I am drinking so much water that I need to go to the bathroom regularly. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually, you're in the middle of a tough conversation and you're going to say something stupid. I got to go to the bathroom. You're at your desk, you should get up and move around. I got to go to the bathroom. It's a wonderful thing. So those are the unexpected consequences of hydrating properly. And how difficult is it to do? If you drink a lot of coffee, if you drink a lot of juices, if you drink a lot of whatever that is not water, then it's extremely difficult. If you get used to replacing all those things with water, over a very, very, very short period of time, drinking those other things will feel ugh. You'll enjoy a coffee, but not 7. You'll crave water. It comes back so quickly. And I'm telling you from experience, I used to drink in excess of 2 to 3 liters of Coca-Cola a day. A day. I had a restaurant for 17 years. I was in the industry for almost 30. And if it wasn't apple juice, which was probably worse than Coca-Cola, it was Coca-Cola. And I drank so much of it. And now I can't even drink one. I can't even finish a can of Coke. I crave it sometimes in the bottle, it's a nostalgic thing. But I don't, so without getting into all the medical components and all that stuff, is, again, what's in your control and how simple and gratifying can you make it? Having water close by, like a water bottle, it becomes like we don't go anywhere without our cell phones. I don't go anywhere without my water bottle. I literally don't. I'll turn around and come back into my house to get my water bottle if I forgot it. So, and if it's there, it's amazing how instinctively you'll reach for it and take a sip. I don't chug this, but I'm sipping it all day long. And I fill it 5, 6 times a day. So it's that simple.
It's Here's the thing too with hydration. It's what your body needs. I said this before, you're not made of broccoli, you're not made of running 5 miles, and you're not made of producing work for the people that you work for. You're made of literal water. So when you start understanding that water is also a non-negotiable. And I don't know how. There are some people on this planet who haven't drank water for a year, a couple of years. I don't know how their body's still alive. Our bodies are miraculous. But here's the thing. I once I started drinking a lot of water, a lot of water, I actually stopped wearing makeup because I didn't realize that my face was sunken in. I got more beautiful the more that I drank water. And if this inspires you, men and women, to drink more water, I think I was like 23, 24 when I started like really focusing on my hydration. I didn't realize I had black circles under my eyes. Everything was sunken in. And after about a month of drinking a lot of water, my face came back to life and I actually stopped wearing makeup. I think I might start wearing makeup again. It's been almost like 6 years, but I stopped wearing makeup because my face was radiant. And people ask me all of the time, they're like, "How old are you?" People think I'm young. I had someone last year think that I was 16. I'm like, you're crazy. But two, it's because I don't have a sunken in face. I've got a radiance and I've got a level of happiness to me that comes from hydration. And even little things where I had a partner once and we were going on a trip across the country and he was like, how much water? I was a crazy water drinker. So he was like, okay, how much water are you bringing? Because I would bring a bunch of water with me. And I'm like, I'm bringing gallons for every day. And he's like, you're not drinking that much water on this trip. I was like, absolutely, yes, I am. And we got through the road trip. I think it was like a 6-day road trip from North Carolina to the Grand Canyon and made some cool stops, stopped at hot springs. We stopped probably every 45 minutes for me to run to the restroom. And he's like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "Yes, I can. There's a gas station off of every exit. There are exits every few miles. Like everything's fine. It's going to be good." And by the end of our road trip, I forced this man to drink a bunch of water too because he has a competitive nature and didn't want to not drink water. By the end of the road trip, he looked at me and he was like, I understand. I understand why you do that. We didn't fight once. We didn't have a single argument. We didn't get stressed out. When you're dehydrated, it's so much easier to be reactive. It's so much easier to be stressed out. It's so much easier to not really have control of your life. But when you're hydrated, all of that goes away. And he had been on road trips with many people throughout his whole entire life, and it had never been as easy and flawless. I think that I'm easy and flawless, but that's a whole entire different story. But in general, we you start to realize that if you give your body the proper tools to live like a baseline, steady, even, balanced life, you will have more of a baseline, steady, even, calm life. And this isn't going to be a conversation about what type of water you should drink, the all the contaminants in it, all those things. Like at the baseline of it all, just start drinking more water and you will experience more benefits. Like Alvaro was saying, you're going to get up, you're going to move more, you're going to have more energy flowing through your body, you're going to feel more nimble, you're not going to be stuck in this computer focused only on productivity. You're going to focus on your body's needs as well of like, I need water, I need to relieve myself. You might get distracted and grab a little snack and be like, oh, I'm remembering to eat. All of these little things that we sometimes forget. So these are things that are going to bring a significant impact into your life and are going to give you the tools that you need to feel more focused and feel more whole and hopefully feel more like the person that you are meant to be. And I feel like the more that I've focused on my sleep and the more that I've focused on my hydration, I've come back to the wonder that I had in life when I was a child. And I think sometimes we think that adulthood is supposed to be dull and boring and not fun. But I think that it gets dull and boring and not fun because we don't give ourselves what we need. But the more that I've given my body what it needs, the more that I've been able to actually enjoy my life and do the things that I love and create a life that I love. So there's a lot. And I'm curious for those of you who are here, are there moments in your life where you're like, wow, I could have had a really big shift, or I understand where I want to make some change? You can drop it in the chat. You can let us know. Or if this conversation is just lighting off some like radars for you, you can drop 222 in the chat and be like, you know what? This makes sense. And when Alvaro and I were coming together for this conversation, I was like, I feel like having a sleep and hydration conversation has made is just such a simple conversation, and we've made it a whole month out of it. But sometimes we just need the repeated reminders from different voices and different faces saying, "Hey, maybe it's time to look at the simple things that'll help you live a whole life."
I want to weigh in a little bit on, I guess, when we're talking about hydration. So why don't we? Um, 80% of the time that we think we're hungry, we're actually thirsty. That's how easy it is to mistake thirst. By the time you actually think that you're thirsty, you are already dehydrated. So if you feel your mouth is dry and I need something to drink, that means that you should have had something maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before. So instead of trying to remember all these things, instead of trying to, you know, become a wizard on hydration and sleep, why not just do what's easy? Just sip water all day long. Don't drink juice, don't drink pop, don't drink coffee all day long. Leave those as little gifts to yourself. I'm going to have a gin martini. Excellent. Go for it. Enjoy it. Hopefully not at 11 o'clock at night because that's going to screw up your sleep. Jocelyn, I want to make sure that your question is answered. The sleep aid you're talking about, first of all, it's a drug. So I'm not a doctor. I don't want to talk about the drug itself. What I do know is that it works a little bit like an antihistamine, and those are great if you're on a flight and you need to sleep. It's like taking a sleeping pill because what it does is that it blocks the receptors to creating histamine, which allows drowsiness to creep in and you go to sleep. Like melatonin, it will get you to sleep but not keep you asleep. In fact, overuse of something like that most likely will develop a cycle of falling asleep and waking up a few hours later. And so you'll have disrupted sleep. So I'm not yay or nay, everybody is different. Sometimes we need a little bit of help to get to sleep, yes. Melatonin, people take melatonin pills and stuff like that. That's a question for your doctor. But as far as a sleep aid is concerned, what it does is it helps you get to sleep but not stay asleep. So I hope that helps to answer your question. For hydration, again, if you consistently find yourself that you're, defining thirst, that you feel thirsty, understand that you've already dehydrated yourself beyond what your body requires. If you're not going to the bathroom on a regular basis and your urine isn't clear, unless you're taking some heavy vitamin C or multivitamins and stuff like that, um, that is a sign that you are not hydrating enough as well. So dark urine is a sign that you are dehydrated. Those are the things that you can look for to let you know that perhaps your hydration is not healthy, that you need to improve it. And the fix is so simple. Stay close to water, drink water, sip all day.
Keep it nearby. I don't, just like Alvaro, I don't leave my house without multiple things of water. If I'm leaving the house for the day, I've got multiple jugs of water with me. Got it for my dogs, got it for me. Everything's great. And it's really interesting. I'm dropping a book in the chat for you all. It's called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. This book blew my mind into how much dehydration plays a role into so many different illnesses that we have. Um, Alzheimer's can be linked directly to dehydration. Dementia can be linked directly to dehydration. Osteoporosis can be linked directly to dehydration. There's so much. And I wanted to give you guys resources to start diving in a little bit deeper for those of you who want more of the information and are really fascinated by this. But one of the things, it's called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty, right? Um, it's so wild. When our body is dehydrated, like Alvaro is saying, it turns off our thirst receptors. So when our thirst receptors are turned off, we're not thirsty anymore. What happens and what I see often, and I want you all to use this as a cue to drink more water. And I'm going to give you two cues. The first cue that I want you to use to drink more water is if you are in your kitchen and you're opening all of your cabinets and you're opening your fridge and you're opening your freezer and you're looking for something to eat, but nothing is satisfying you and you're like, I don't know what I want. It is a significantly high likelihood that your body is actually thirsty and you're not hungry at all because your thirst receptors have turned off. So if you're having that moment of just like frenzy and like nothing is going to satisfy me, chug some water and then see what happens. And the other cue I want to give you, because I think it was 88% of us responded to this in the beginning. If you are having that midday slump where you're starting to lose energy, first thing you can do is go outside. That's going to be great. But the thing that I actually want you to use that cue for is to allow yourself to chug water. And I don't want you to sip water. I want you to drink a significant amount of water. Take a cup, drink the whole cup if you can. It might take you a little bit of time to develop that as a habit if you're not used to drinking a lot of water, but I highly, highly suggest chugging water because a lot of the energy sources in our body are based on hydration. If your brain has a 1% decline in hydration, your cognitive function goes down significantly by a large percent. So if you can just boost yourself up by that 1%, you will have a significant change. So these are simple ways that you can start seeing pretty easy and fast results in your life that are going to give you an edge on the person that you were before. If you start making these changes tomorrow, you are going to be an entirely different person tomorrow than you were today. And it's because your body was made for this. It's free and it's really, really easy. So we have a few more minutes. We're coming to an end. And I want to know, are there any questions in the chat from you all? I feel like Alvaro and I can't exhaust this topic because it's just so simple. There's not much more that we could say. There's not much more that we could give. It's simple. Be horizontal for 8 hours. Drink more water than you're drinking now. Wake up and look at the sun. Look at the sun before you go to bed. If you remember some of those very simple foundations, you will see a significant change.
We could talk about the homework for tomorrow a little bit.
I was just about to say, is there anything else that you would like to dive into? So yeah, take us through, which is perfect because I needed to promote tomorrow. Anyway, take us through tomorrow's homework or the homework for tomorrow.
I think based on what we talked about today, really simple. Just reflect on your day to day, not from a deep emotional, critical way. Yeah, for tomorrow, it's really simple. Just reflect on your day to day activities, and not to fix, not to be curious, even just to observe. Do I recognize when I'm thirsty? What is my relationship to sleep? Not on a deep emotional level or anything like that. Just how, what does it look like? If I think about the last few nights, what did I do before I went to bed? What did I do when I got up? Um, do I feel rested? And just kind of observe, and then bring that with you tomorrow, because I think we can sit down and we can start seeing how different people um, need things differently. Like some people do really well with doing an exercise routine before going to bed. If I do exercise before I go to bed, I'm full of energy, and it's really difficult for me to get to sleep. I need the wind down. I need, give me a candlelight bath or a nice long hot shower, and like same for me as Kira. I need my window open. I need fresh air circulating in the room. I need cold. I cozy up. I cover myself with blankets, but I need the cold in the room. So uh, that comes through observation and trial and error. And the whole idea is not to beat yourself up over it. Just be observant.
Take inventory. And tomorrow we have our live mentorship session. So you'll be able to come to us with, hey, this is the inventory that I've taken. And this is And what can I do? How can I get a little bit better? What are some suggestions that you have? And we can help you create a plan because that's what Life Guides is here for. Most of us know where we're at and we know where we want to go, but we don't know how to get there. And we can utilize Life Guides as our source to be able to get there. So that's why we have these guides who can mentor you and help you have that longer term support so that you can grow on your journey. We have one comment in the chat. Christine said, I do want to say that I struggle with water due to job position and not always having that ability to just go to the bathroom. These are things that we could help you with even in the mentorship conversation tomorrow because there would be follow-up questions that we have for you. What's the job? What is management saying? This is a biological need that your body has. It's not really up for discussion. How do we build in support systems where you can start having the conversations that you need or show you alternate options that maybe you didn't think of or anything along those lines?
Even what is the assumption that you're making that you can't go to the bathroom? And we like Kira's saying, we don't know the particulars, so yeah.
Exactly. Or even in the lab, we aren't allowed water in the lab. Yeah, so these are things. I mean, I immediately have so many questions. I'm sure Alvaro does. This is what we do. We kind of assess a situation and help you see perspectives and insights that maybe you don't have access to because you're in the thick of it, you know? So our mentorship session is tomorrow, same time, and we will be there. Alvaro will be giving you guidance and support.